Okay, welcome back guys. Let's have a look at the overlay. Let's actually just play the Brewball music. A little bit easier. I don't have anyone else to play the music for me, so let's actually jump on over to the overlay. Let's have a look at what players are going to be playing. And here we go. We're going to have NetWars Yeti versus V1 in a PvP. So first PvP of the day. V1's actually been doing pretty well. He's won 2 of his games and lost 1. Yeti's of course only played 1 game and he did win it. I believe Yeti played a PvZ before, may have been a PvP though. Need to fix the versus opponents race thing. I'll do that over the weekend hopefully. But should be a pretty cool game, and it's going to be on Grand Line SE. Now Grand Line SE... Wait, the screen's black. Oh wait, man, okay. Let's actually just go back to that. I forgot to change the scene, but here we go. As you can see the players, let's move on to the map. It's going to be Grand Line SE. Really cool map. Maybe not going to go too long in a PvP, but you never know. You do have the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock bases as gases, but they're on islands. They could actually come into play in PvP quite a lot, actually, I think. Depending on what both players do. But then you have the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock are going to be the only other gas bases on the map other than the other main and natural. And you do have, once again, a middle-only third with a lot of unbuildable terrain in the center. They're going to be pretty cool for a PvP. Let's not... I'm just, by the way, I saw the joke about Flash for the Win calling himself, like, a Flash for the Win is kind of funny. But I love the idea of someone being in the casino and when the house wins they cheer. That'd be really, really good. But yeah, let's actually jump into the replay and let's get going, guys. So I just want to make sure I've hidden the thing, and here we go. Let's go. Starting us off in the bottom right position, it is going to be the yellow Protoss playing for NetWars in this 1-1 series. It's going to be Yeti. And spawning in the top right, playing for Team Liquid Staff, it's going to be V1. And he is doing a pretty bang-up job so far. In the tournament, he's been doing really well for his team. Can he pull off another win here? Can he bring Team Liquid up 2-1 against NetWars? Or is Yeti going to stand in his way? I'm really interested to find out, but what are they both going to do? Now, PvP, of course, as I'm a Terran player, isn't my speciality, but I've seen quite a lot of PvPs recently, so I'm slowly getting used to everything and slowly getting used to how the timings work. Of course, they've both gone for a pylon in their base. Proxy Gateway doesn't seem as big of a thing in PvP, but interestingly, Yeti is scouting very, very early, going to scout off of the back of his pylon, whereas V1 is going to be scouting off the back of his gateway. Now, the interesting thing about this is V1 is not going to see what way Yeti's probe came in, so he's not going to be able to immediately scout in the correct direction. Of course, it will be interesting to see if he does. Looks like he will do... Will he? No, he's going to scout in the wrong direction, so this is pretty huge for Yeti. This is going to be a big advantage for him. Of course, the gateway will be ever so slightly ahead for V1, as he did get the extra minerals from the extra mining time. But V1, interestingly, taking another probe off of his mining to try and chase this probe down. Of course, probes do have the same speed, the same health, and the same attack range. So, kind of a questionable decision to do this. He's not going to get gas stalled or anything. But looks like we do have mirror builds so far from both teams, from both players for both teams. Now, I say that, but there's no Cybernetics core been added yet for V1. Whereas before the second pylon, Yeti's actually added the Cybernetics core on first. So his Dragoon's going to be a little bit quicker. The other difference is V1 has actually gone for a Zealot to try and chase away that probe. Whereas Yeti is allowed to skip immediately into the Cybernetics core, get his Dragoon out as quickly as possible, and not worry about any sort of micro with any of his units. Of course, he still hasn't scouted exactly where his opponent is or what his opponent's doing, So it's very important he does keep the probe in check, make sure he doesn't lose anything, but here we go. The probe micro from Yeti is incredibly good so far. He's only taken one hit, I believe, so far, and that was to... Oh no, he must have taken more than that, because he's taken 5 hull damage, but... I mean, he's doing a really good job with this. Looks like we actually have a second Zealot on the way for V1. He's not going to go straight into his Cybernetic Core or anything. Cybernetic Core, of course, going to come up now. And this second Zealot's actually going to delay his... Oh no, it's not going to delay anything. That's kind of interesting. He still gets his Dragoon out on time. Of course, his Dragoon count will be a little bit lower, but he will have the 2 Zealots out the front to try and soak up some of that damage from the other Dragoons. And that is very, very important in PvP. Looks like we do have the Scouting Probe of V1 going to go down immediately. Does, of course, scout. The Goon range is on the way. Will scout. There is 3 pylons in the main as well, so there's going to be no kind of proxy or anything like that. And I mean, so far this has been a pretty standard PvP. There's not really too much to say, not really too many differences. Of course, well, I say not too many differences, and there has been 2 differences. Over on this side of the map, we see 2 Dragoons, whereas here we see 2 Zealots. And we also see a second gateway coming up for V1, whereas looks like, sorry, for Yeti, and V1 is going to go straight into a Robo, and then the second factory, second gateway even, but we do have the Robo coming up as well for Yeti. Looks like Yeti's Robo is just slightly behind again. And this Scouting Probe, still alive, gonna try and come back and see something else, but does get chased away. And V1 looks like he's either clicked on the probe or he's just gonna try and go for a scout himself. But that is gonna be denied by the Dragoons. And that's actually gonna be an important scout for V1. He's gonna know that Yeti could have the option of going for aggression. He's seen the Dragoon count here. And it looks like we are gonna get aggression here. This is 3 gateways from our yellow Protoss from NetWars. Should be kind of cool to see if he can actually hold on to this. There's going to be a support bay a lot quicker. Oh, actually, there's not going to be a support bay from Yeti, so this is going to be 3 gateway observer, or sorry, 3 gate obs, which is an anti-DT build, I believe. Just allows you to sort of defend against any DTs. Of course, there is like a 4 gate all-in you can do as well, but that pretty much immediately dies to DTs. There's not really too much you can do about that. But are we going to see a 4th gateway here, or is he just going to stick to his 3 gates, build up a big Dragoon count, and then move in? Looks like Yeti may have been thinking about expanding there. Does, of course, send his probe back. Going to be looking to build that Reaver very quickly. Now this Reaver is going to be worth its weight in absolute gold here when this engagement finally does happen. Yeti is going to be going to have to push into this choke or maybe up the ramp, and what's going to happen is the Reaver is going to get some very nice scarabs. Looks like we have the observatory coming up for V1 as well. That's going to allow him to scout for any obs, going to allow him to snipe the observers of his opponent. Of course, the first observer is on the way now for Yeti. By the time this observatory finishes, he should actually have an observer just in time to really go and kill this. So, kind of good for him. Looks like we actually have the probe. Gonna scout that there's no second base. He's seen that there's an incredibly high gateway count, at least an incredibly high Dragoon count, and this is going to mean that he will be able to guess that it is going to be 3 gates here. Looks like we are finally going to see an expansion coming up as well. The money pooling up there is a big tell of that. There we go. Nexus coming in. Now Yeti, of course, doesn't need to attack. He's not that far behind. He's actually going to be ahead now. He's ahead in supply. Not too sure if he's ahead in workers. I mean, looking at the shadows, it looks like he may have built a couple of extra workers compared to V1. But of course, V1 does have the tech advantage here. He will be able to take this into the later game with a little bit of a stronger army. But of course, no forges or anything for either player right now. So nothing too crazy. Now this is the only problem with PvP. Like sometimes they can be super exciting, and other times they can be very well. It's the same with TVT and CVC, I guess. Sometimes you do just get these really passive PvPs where both player doesn't really want to attack because they know they can lose the game if they attack. Looks like V1 is playing incredibly defensive, keeping his 3 Dragoons here to try and defend against Shells, but look at this, really, really nice pickoff by the Dragoons here. They're going to get the Observer. Can they get it? No, it just gets away. And that is really, really nicely done by V1 to save that. But are we going to see him build a shot at any point soon? It looks like we should have, but second Reaver on the way before any form of shuttles here. And I mean, this is a very, very good map for Reaver Harass. There's a lot of dead space behind the natural. Of course, you do have the ability to leave your Observer there. The main is a little bit harder to get into, but of course you do have the path around the middle. Now we finally have some extra gateways coming in for V1, a Citadel Everdoon as well. There's going to be 4 gates against 3 for the time being. Natural, of course, up a lot sooner for Yeti, but the Natural finishes up pretty soon for V1 as well. They're both going to be able to saturate the bases now, and it looks like we're going to be going into a fairly long macro game here on Grand Line. Very hard in this position to actually attack, purely because this bridge exists. Makes it very, very difficult to push through. If one player has gone Reaver, for instance, and you go Dragoon and you try and push through here, you'll die. Now, of course, as you can see here, there is the high ground pod in the middle. This does allow you to circumvent the bridge and make your way around, which is a lot safer for the Dragoons. Of course, they'll have the high ground advantage coming down to the low ground here, but it doesn't look like V1's really that interested in leaving his base. We finally have a shuttle on the way. He's going to be able to load up a couple of Reavers, it looks like. Maybe with 1 and 2 Zealots, and just do what he can to try and do some aggression, some harassment here. But Yeti, with such an overwhelming army size, has units absolutely everywhere to try and defend against this, but slowly but surely, the longer Yeti does not add gateways on, looks like, oh actually, wow, he's actually added up to 6 gateways now against the 4. So Yeti does not want to fall behind in units, but here we go, another source of AoE going to be coming in for V1. Looks like he's going to go into Storm as well, and that is a very, very nice choice for him. You may have the gateway advantage, but if you have Storms, if you have Reavers, the unit advantage really does go in favor of the lower supply player if you play cost efficiently enough, and that is something certainly that Templar and Reavers can do. Now, looks like we do have the Storm coming up for Yeti as well. Yeti's still not actually adding on the Reaver tech. I guess he's going to skip that this game. But both of them still sitting back quite nicely. I mean, neither of them really need to push in right now. They just kind of want to macro up. Looks like we could even see a 200-200 fight before, whoa, a 200-200 army before either of them really move out. Finally, it looks like V1 has pulled the trigger. He's going to move out onto the map. Now, there is a lot of Zealots in this army for both players, actually. I thought there was only going to be it for V1 because Yeti was adding on a lot of Dragoons, but of course, with these gateways, he's going to be able to pump a lot of units out, and funnily enough, Yeti has given up that high ground position, and this could actually hurt him. Looks like V1 is going to move down now. Is he going to go for the smaller amp or the bigger one? Of course, the Reaver's going to do a lot of damage here when it does come to the engagement, but he needs to be careful not to get the shuttle sniped. It does not have speed yet. Not sure if he is researching that, but here we go. Looks like V1 wants to pull the trigger. The Reavers have been dropped. Units on both sides of this engagement. Zealots from one side, not going to be able to block the Zealots from the other, and the Zealots getting immediately on top of everything. Storm goes down on the Reaver, trying to get the shuttle as well. One of the Reavers going down to Storm, but this is such a close engagement, and it's so hard to tell what units are what players. And here we go, it looks like Yeti, with the overwhelming numbers, is going to be able to push through. He's going to try and push up now. Of course, we do have Storm back home for V1, but this is going to be a lot of damage. He lost most of his units there, does not have... Oh, actually, I think he may have a gateway advantage finally. But I mean, Yeti has such an overwhelming numbers advantage now. It looks like we're going to see Yeti go for a third base as well. Looks like we see V1 trying to do that as well, but that's going to be a little bit too greedy now. He's going to have to turtle up. He's building an Archon. Oh no, this is the worst thing you could possibly do. Looks like he forgot Storm. Oh no, what a poor decision there by V1, and here we go. It looks like V1's going to try and hold on. He's going to try and push out. But there is going to be Storms on top of his units here. And this is just going to be too much for V1, or for Yeti even. I don't think V1's going to be able to hold on. Yeti pushing in with his might, and this is so much damage going down. The Archon going to help out a lot against the Zealots, but You know what? I think this is just too many units now for Yeti. Looks like we've got some more reinforcements coming in, but GG, Yeti is going to take the series.